Welcome to the law of the mirror. Matthew chapter 9, verse 29. Then touched he their eyes, saying, according to your faith be it unto you. James 1:22. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any man be a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself, and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty, and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. First principle, you must see value in yourself to add value to yourself. Personal development is the belief that you are worth the effort, time, and energy needed to develop yourself, according to Dennis Waitley. I believe all people have the seeds of success within them. All they need to do is to cultivate those seeds, water them, feed them, and they will begin to grow. This is what I've spent my life trying to add value to people. I love to see people succeed. So why do many people fail to grow and reach their potential? I believe it's because of a few main reasons. Is low self-esteem. Many people don't believe in themselves. They don't see the possibilities that God put in them. They possess 100 acres of possibility, yet never cultivate them because they're convinced that they won't be able to learn and grow and blossom into something wonderful. In this law, as we look into the mirror, we got to learn the power of positive self-esteem. Paul said in Philippians 4:8, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. I know how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere in all things, I'm instructed both to be full, to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. Your attitude to your potential is either the key to or the lock on the door of personal fulfillment. Attitude's a state of mind that causes you to feel or act in a certain way. When you believe something is impossible, your mind goes to work trying to prove why it is impossible. If we constantly entertain negative thoughts, failure will stalk us like a predator. Every successful person has kept his or her thoughts in the realm of faith and possibility. You can't hide your thoughts. And sometimes they're going to surface, materialize, and make you what you are to be. Being negative, I found, is a habit. Being positive is a habit. So think on these things. Amen. Have a positive spirit. Self-esteem is the most significant key to a person's behavior. Zig Ziglar says, it's impossible to consistently behave in a manner inconsistent with how we see ourselves. We can do very few things in a positive way if we feel negative about ourselves. Psychiatrist Dr. Braden, on the subject of self-esteem, says, no factor is more important people's psychological development and motivation than the value judgments they make about themselves. Every aspect of their life is impacted by the way they see themselves. If you believe you're worthless, then you won't add value to yourself. Low self-esteem puts a ceiling on our potential. Imagine if you want to do something great in your life that impacts a lot of people. Perhaps it's a successful business. Maybe that desire, no matter how great, will be limited by your leadership. It's a lid on your potential. Well, your self-esteem has the same kind of impact. If you desire to be a 10, but your self-esteem is a 5, you'll never perform at a level of 10. You'll perform as a 5 or lower. People are never able to outperform their self-image. Dr. Brandon says, if you feel inadequate to face challenges, unworthy of love or respect, unentitled to happiness, and fear assertive thoughts, wants, or needs, if you lack basic self-trust, self-respect, self-confidence, your self-esteem deficiency will limit you, no matter what other assets you possess. So the value we place on ourselves is usually the value others place on us. A man went to a fortune teller to hear what she had to say about his future. She looked into the crystal ball and said, "You will be poor and unhappy until you're 45 years old." "Then what will happen?" asked the man hopefully. "Then you'll just get used to it." I'm sorry to say that's the way most people live their lives, according to what others believe about them. If the important people in their lives expect them to go nowhere, that's what they expect for themselves. That's fine if you're surrounded by people who believe in you. But what if you're not? You shouldn't become too concerned about what others might think of you. You should be more concerned about what you think of yourself. If you put a small value on yourself, rest assured the world will not raise the price. If you want to become the person you have the potential to be, you must believe you can. There's a few steps we'll go through in this lesson to build your self-image. The first one, you need to guard your self-talk. Whether you know it or not, you have a running conversation with yourself all the time. What's the nature of yours? Do you encourage yourself or do you criticize yourself? If you're positive, then you help to create a positive self-image. If you're negative, you undermine your self-worth. Where does negative, critical self-talk come from? Usually it comes from your upbringing, people close to you. In their book, The Answer, businessmen, authors John Assaraf and Murray Smith talk about the negative messages children receive growing up. They write, by the time you're 17 years old, you've heard no, you can't, an average of 150,000 times. You've heard yes, you can about 5,000 times. That's 30 no's for every yes. That makes for a powerful belief of I can't. That's a lot for all of us to overcome. If we want to change our lives, we have to change the way we think of ourselves. If we want to change the way we think of ourselves, we need to change the way we talk to ourselves. And the older we are, the more responsible we are for how we think, talk, and believe. Don't you have enough problems in your life already? Why add to them by discouraging yourself every day with negative self-talk? We need to learn to become our best encourager, our best cheerleader. Every time we do a good job, don't just let it pass. Give yourself a compliment. Every time you choose a discipline over indulgence, don't tell yourself that you should have anyway. Recognize how much you are helping yourself. Every time you make a mistake, don't bring up everything that's wrong with yourself. Tell yourself you're paying the price for growth, that you will learn to do better next time. Every positive thing you can say to yourself is going to help. Second thing we need to do is stop comparing yourself to others. What happens when you compare yourself to others? Usually it's one of two things. Either you perceive the other person to be far ahead of you and you feel discouraged, or you perceive yourself to be better than the other person and you become proud. Neither of those is good for you, and neither will help you to grow. Comparing yourself to others is really just a needless distraction. The only one you should compare yourself to is you. Your mission is to become a better you today than you were yesterday. You do that by focusing on what you can do today to improve and grow. Do that enough, and you look back and compare the weeks, months, or years ago, you should be greatly encouraged by your progress.